The Shangri-la Hotel. In the past 2 decades, 2 significant meetings took place at the exact same hotel. How did the Shangri-la Hotel, or more generally Singapore, become the Switzerland of Asia? Unlike Switzerland, Singapore is a small island with no natural resources. Singapore is an ideal location for high-profile conversations between 2 governments that could loosely be called arch-enemies. Infrastructure to provide facilities for the meeting, as well as security for the delegates and their entourage. Close relationships with both sides, or rather neutral stance between the 2 parties so neither parties would feel like they're the guests at the meeting. Crowd control. Meetings that require a neutral party are usually, in one way or another, controversial. Having a large protest could be problematic. On March 8, 2018, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un expressed his eagerness to meet with then US President Donald Trump. This was monumental as leaders of both the United States and North Korea have never met. The summit was confirmed 3 months later on June 12th. When selecting location, places like Sweden and Switzerland were removed from consideration due to their distance from North Korea, while a closer location like Mongolia lacked the infrastructure to secure such a high-level talk. In the end, Singapore checked all the boxes for this historical meeting. Singapore is one of the most affluent and technologically advanced cities in Asia, providing proper accommodations for both delegations and is equipped with ample security measures. Kim even felt safe enough in Singapore to visit downtown during his visit. Of course, it was also helpful that Singapore was friendly with both parties. Singapore is one of the few UN nations that have friendly relations with North Korea. They also house many US military facilities, but this isn't the first time that Singapore utilized its connection to bring arch-enemies to the table. Setting the scene is 1993, nearly 50 years since the Republic of China retreated to Taiwan, and it's been 20 years since the People's Republic of China gained recognition from most UN nations. However, the ROC and PRC governments were acting like a broken-up couple with too many mutual friends. They chose to not have any official conversations, and communications were mostly done via back channels. Then Prime Minister of Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew, was friendly with leaders from both sides and acted as a good friend, was able to bring both sides to the table. Lee had its additional advantage as someone who was ethnically Han Chinese and understood the nuances surrounding the ceremony and customs, such as who entered the room first, who sat on the right side. This led to a strange but meticulously crafted signing ceremony of a joint agreement. One of the most unique things about Singapore is its strict rules around protests and control over the media. Singapore's government rests in a peculiar point between authoritarianism and democracy. In essence, to keep Singapore a well-oiled corporation. Yes, that's the ideology of how the government governs. Strict rules are enforced around many aspects of Singaporean life, including protests. The only protests allowed in Singapore are at a location called Speaker's Corner, which must be registered with the government first. This meant that potentially controversial meetings could be held without public dissent and media scrutiny. On the topic of media, all news outlets in Singapore are highly controlled by the government, and in most cases, act as government mouthpieces. In 2015, the then president of ROC, Ma Ying-jeou, and the chairman of PRC, Xi Jinping, met in Singapore. While Taiwan is listed as one of the freest media environments in the world, China, on the other hand, is not. After the summit meeting, Ma and Xi had separate press conferences. Not having Singaporean local media pestering China about sensitive topics is a big plus. Apart from all these high-profile meetings, Singapore also hosts the Shangri-la Dialogue, a forum where nations gather to discuss security issues in Asia. Singapore is steadily building its name as a neutral location for all parties to meet. Like Switzerland, Singapore's neutrality is not passive and must be carefully maintained, especially as Singapore is a small nation with no natural resources.